Hi, everyone. How are you guys doing? So this is our monthly coaching call for business coaching for Planner Academy, and it's free for the month of March, February and March, and possibly April, because I'm not sure if I'm going to launch Planner Academy next month with everything going on. So who's here and just how are you doing in general? I sent out an email this morning just saying like, everybody's confused. So if you don't know what to do or like how to spend your time or how to structure your day, then like, don't worry about it. The advice is all over the board. And what people are doing is also all over the board. Like some people are huddling down and staying quiet. Some people are just acting like nothing's happening and like pushing their sales copy with some hardcore, like high pressure sales, which I just find kind of funny because I feel like we should at least acknowledge what's going on. I don't know. But then other people are like, you're probably sick of hearing about it, so I won't mention it at all. So, and that's how they mention it, I guess. So everybody is different. Hey, Marilyn. Hi, Shanda. Hi, Amy. Hi, Elise. Amy, I thought your email was perfect. You hit how I'm feeling. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because I work from home every day. So I, in theory, should have a very structured day. I have all my equipment here, but it just feels different for some reason. And because it feels different, I'm reacting differently. And usually for the day, I kick off my day with, let me change this, business coaching call. It still says how to edit the fitness planner on YouTube. I always start my day with going to the gym at 6 a.m. And so it's just throw my day off. And like, if I don't do that first activity, that like anchor activity for the morning, I don't really get a lot done. Like I worked out today kind of at 9 o'clock, kind of like gave up at 9:15. I don't know. It's just different when you're like on a treadmill or in your living room and it's so easy to hit the stop button versus in a class, you like cannot hit the stop button. Elise, I agree. I have stuff to do, but not motivated to do it. It feels odd. Yeah, and it's funny because everyone's always like, wouldn't you love to work from home? Wouldn't you love to like just make your own hours? And then as soon as like we can all do it, even people that have day jobs, it's like, I don't know, like something happened. So if you're feeling like that, like don't feel bad because I've been seeing a lot of emails too where and these just don't motivate me. And I definitely know some people love the tough love thing and they're like, you're going to regret it, get off your butt, quit being so lazy. And I don't know, maybe that'll be the case, but yeah, I just need some like breathing room and I'm not getting a lot done. And I did, one of my other friends too, Kristen online, she's a creative entrepreneur coach too. And she's an author and she was like, yeah, same here. I'm just kind of just relaxing. She's like, it's 3 o'clock. I haven't even gotten out of my pajamas. And she's same thing. She works from home. So yeah, don't worry about it. So anyways, today I thought what we could do is I had mentioned in a couple emails that I 100% have sat on like a gazillion business continuity plans. And if you're not familiar with that, that's basically where you pay some really expensive expert to come in and he thinks of all worst case scenarios, right? It's usually someone from the insurance agency or a past insurance executive. And he'll start talking about like you'll say something like, well, he'll say, well, if the power goes out, what are you going to do? And I'll say, well, if the power goes out, then we'll obviously send people home. And he's like, no, what you should do is you should have a backup generator. And I'm like, okay, so we'll have a backup generator. And he'll be like, but what are you going to do if your backup generator is dead? So like just one worst case scenario after the other. So that's basically all you need to do. So if you think about how insurance companies planned for disasters, right? Like, and what kind of packages they sell. It's because they're thinking of worst case scenario. Oh, hi, Luis Pedro Silva from Brazil over on YouTube. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. So we're going to do two different things today. So I did promise I would share with you like who I'm following online. But this is really quick. How to do a business continuity plan. It's really simple. There's a lot of information on there, like how to safe-proof your business. And there's a ton of different information you can get out there. But there's just two basic things that you need to do. One, all you have to do is come up with every worst case scenario. So the goal is, like it says, business continuity planning. So you want to continue to stay in business. So for example, I worked at TD Securities, and TD Securities is a trading company, which means they sell stocks, they do options. It's not those people on the floor screaming. It is trading these days. I mean, there still are people that do that in some of the commodity markets. But for the most part, they are people that we hire PhD graduates from astrophysics, because they are usually the smartest people in the world. And we ask them to write algorithms for us based on trading volatility and different predictions in the market. And then based on that, the algorithm, the computer program, will make a decision on what stocks to trade and sell as the day goes on. So mostly traders are really just watching the screen, making sure that the things they want to happen should be happening, like a human being to like double check it. But these decisions are being made within 1/100th of a second. So when you have most good trading companies have a trunk landline to the exchange, whether it's the Board of Options, the American stock market, whatever market stock exchange it is, they have a trunk line, and it's dedicated so that they can have low latency, so that the algorithm can make the right decisions and execute those accordingly. So the backup plan that we had was, what happens if the trunk line gets cut? What happens if the trunk line gets compromised? What happens if the electricity goes out? What happens if someone hacks into our system and there's a virus, or someone else gets our thing, right? So we had come up with a ton of different scenarios for that. And one of them was mostly just, they had paid a lot of money. So our entire floor, the entire business only took up one floor inside the Federal Exchange building. And so we had rented an entirely new floor where we replicated the entire office over in a building all the way out in the suburbs, because in theory, if something happened downtown Chicago, then we could go out to the suburbs where it should be safer. There should be, I don't know, less traffic, less issues, or whoever knows what's going on in the city. That was our backup plan. So after you think of every single worst case scenario, then you think of a plan. Shonda, contingency plans. Yes, I need this to stay focused and get some productive things done. Yeah. So here's the thing, which I was saying, I was like, it's kind of funny because I don't have a contingency plan or business continuity plan. You need to think of these things before a disaster happens, right? Like, you buy insurance before it happens. It's just like when, people are trying to buy life insurance plans. As time goes on and you get older, the cost of the life insurance plan goes up exponentially, because the likelihood of something bad happening is very high. So we're at the point now where something bad has happened and we're all kind of scrambling. So it's always better for you, for peace of mind and for calmness, and to think of good solutions, to try to think of these things beforehand. So a lot of things could happen, not just the pandemic, right? Like, I've been at home and the electricity has gone out. And this never happened to me in New York or Chicago, really anywhere in the world. It's only San Diego where they either just have, I don't know, electrical issues, or they like turn off the electrical grid on purpose. I've never even heard of this. So they can do backups. So, it's something new that happens here, and I had no contingency plan. So the thing you want to do is you want to think about before. So let's pretend there's a power outage, right? And that's the one thing that you're just trying to plan around. So I could buy an iPad with cellular data. I could buy a jetpack, which, if you don't know what those are, it's just a cellular mobile hotspot, but it's not your phone. That way you don't download, or you don't like drain the battery from your phone. And also you can keep using your phone in tandem with the jetpack, so that you are not overloading either one with too much data. I can activate my phone as a hotspot too, as a backup. I could go ahead and create my own network. I have no idea how to do that. There are smart people out there that know how to create their own sort of Wi-Fi network. I could have satellite. I could also purchase internet through my cable provider, as well as through a what is it? There's some of the buildings are wired with fiber optics, right? Like maybe I could buy two different ones, just like at TD Securities, how they had purchased a whole nother or rented, leased out a whole nother space so that it could just be up and running automatically. Obviously, some plans, contingencies cost more than others. So you might want to make a business decision like, it's okay if I'm not up and running. And then during, what you want to do too, before it happens, is you want to test it out. So we would test it out so we knew like how we had to change the algorithms to account for the fact that we no longer had the ability to do 1/100th of a second low latency to the exchange. Now it took maybe a whole half second to get a message relayed across via Wi-Fi or fiber optics or whatever they had going on then. So you want to do the same thing, right? Like maybe with cellular data, you can't live stream because it's too much data going across trying to be uploaded to a cellular device. Or maybe you can live stream, but you can only do it on Facebook Live because the technology is different. Or you can only do it on Google Hangouts or StreamYard or something else, but you won't know that until you test it out. So again, make sure you test out your plan before you actually need to use it. So then you know it's going to be okay. And then obviously during, you are going to just implement your plan. And then afterwards, you're going to do what's called a post-implementation review. So you're going to say, okay, how great was using the cellular data on the iPad? Was it really that great? It wasn't really that useful because I can only do a limited number of things on the iPad. I'm better off with getting a jetpack, or I'm better off with having a contingency plan where I just throw everything in my car and drive, I don't even know, 200 miles up the coast to my friend in LA who probably still has power, or getting on a plane and just flying over to Texas, to Dallas, to my friend, and setting up an office there. And I don't know that that's the solution, but after you do things, it might be worth it for you, depending on your business and how it runs and how much uptime you need. So that's really all you need to do. So every different scenario, I see people, there's a lot of things you could take right now as well. I sent out, I think, a resource for the Rising Tide, and they have a website called, or not a website, they have a page for COVID resources for entrepreneurs. And Ashlyn Carter actually just yesterday sent out a link to have, swipe files, like, if you're not familiar with swipe file, it just means like someone wrote some copy for you. You can copy and paste it and just kind of customize it to your own on responses to what to happen during COVID. You could change those responses based on if you have an electricity outing, internet outing, if you yourself get sick and aren't able to go online, or maybe you're going to go on vacation and just in case, who knows, your flight gets delayed or you're on a cruise that gets quarantined, I don't know, then you could send stuff, you could have things available and ready for your administrative assistant or someone else on your team to kind of be able to know what to do to push those messages out. So, again, different scenarios, different things that happen. You could also do this for just mini things. Like let's say you have a live webinar next Tuesday and who knows, maybe the internet just happens to go out right during the middle of your live stream, your session kicks you off. This happens a lot, right? So I think people kind of get flustered if they haven't thought about that beforehand. Think about worst case scenarios. It's kind of like if you ever read that book, Dale Carnegie's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, he's always like, just jump to worst case scenario right away and just imagine, just accept it and imagine, what you would do if that happens. And then you can be very nice and calm when it ever does happen. So that's my advice. I went on live. I don't think a lot of you follow me on Instagram, but I mentioned that I would be on Instagram, was it Thursday of last week? And I think I got one question. But if you guys have any questions about anything, I think you guys all know too, if anybody does has employees, or on the reverse side, if you're an employee and you're just not sure what to do or how to file for unemployment, or if there's other things you can do, just ask me. I know San Diego County is offering what they're called rent relief or rent assistance. So you might want to check with your county if you're having trouble paying rent, because I know that's going to come up in a couple of weeks, and see if you're able to get assistance. What else was useful? I went shopping, grocery shopping the other day at the Asian food market, and it was fully stocked and there was nobody there, because I think just subconsciously people are afraid to go to the Asian markets. So I was able to get all the supplies that I finally needed: disinfectant wipes, toilet paper, all of that stuff. So, just try to think outside the box on different ways to come up with solutions for actually right now. I know they were talking, I have no idea what happened. I didn't watch the news today. They were talking about passing a bill for restaurants and the airlines and other things like that. I don't know if it extends to solopreneurs. I know the goal is to keep small businesses alive. And I believe the aim, though, is mostly the government's kind of like, well, we could play unemployment, or we could put money into small businesses, help the economy, and then keep people employed that way. So it'll be interesting to see if it helps online businesses. I know everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of different industries that I'm connected to. I saw an email this morning from Eventbrite asking them to send letters into Congress asking for event planners to be included inside of that bailout package. And then also, I don't know if it's a bailout package, whatever that relief package is, I'm not sure what they're calling it. And then people in the fitness industry were sending tons of letters asking them to also include fitness and health clubs, because they weren't able to open and they had to close as well. So who knows what it will be like in the end. But you should just keep your eyes open for that. So that's it for contingency plans, unless anybody has any questions, because these business coaching calls don't really have templates and they don't really have slides. I really wanted to keep them more informal, so it's not just me like lecturing to you, in case you guys have questions. But I'm going to move on, because we are going to talk about the people that I'm following. Because I did wipe out everybody. Like, I wiped out people on the list. I wiped out people that I was subscribed to. I just really wanted to simplify everything. So let me go ahead, open up. All right, so there's a link below too for the Podia Content Creator Summit. So if anybody is thinking about creating their own course, or just creating, and it's not just courses, because the thing I really like about Podia is you can sell 3 different things. You can sell digital downloads, you can sell courses, and you can sell memberships. So all of those things are different types of products within Podia, versus usually when you go to Teachable, or I shouldn't say use all of them. When you go to all of those platforms, they don't differentiate between those different types of products. And so a course could be a download. A download could be a course, right? So you like have no idea. A membership is a course that just has recurring payments. So this is very different, and I really like Podia, so that's why I'm on this platform. So they're hosting, every year they host their Content Creator Day. It's a virtual summit, so nobody has to go in person. But the link below, it's free to register. And they just added a new speaker today. Where is she here? I actually don't know who she is, Laura, and she's going to talk about how to promote during a pandemic. And then I think I'm at the end of the day. Let's see. I'm not even out here on the schedule. I am definitely, there I am. Can't even find my name. Course creator session. So I am going on live at 2:00. So with Kara Chase as well, who is a Pinterest marketing expert. So we're going to talk about how we found our audiences and courses and everything else. So, there's a ton of different great people that are going to be on it. And I believe they grab new people every year. So it'll be a really great thing to listen to. And podcasts, I know lots of people are creating new podcasts and having lots of success with them. And, if you think it's too late to start a podcast, that is 100% untrue. I was just talking to my friend Kristen the other day, and she's a big YouTuber, right? And so She has like, I don't even know, like 40,000 YouTube subscribers. And then she had decided to move to podcasting as well. And she does both of them. And she said now she's at the point where her podcast gets way more listens and way more ad revenue and is much more engaging for her as an audience and a lead into her business than YouTube is. And she has literally double the number of YouTube subscribers I have. And she started podcasting, I want to say just recently, not that, like maybe a year ago, and it's just exploded overnight. So, if you want to do podcasting, they're going to be talking about podcasting as well. So lots of good fun stuff. And that's this Thursday. So it's happening soon. All right. So who do I follow? So I follow pretty much my friends, obviously. So I just leave their emails. I don't know what's going on with Camila's website, but that's her. There. I follow my friend Lauren. I follow my friend Joyce. Joyce actually does this full time. All she does is coach creative entrepreneurs. We were actually going to do a joint collaboration to promote her program. If you're thinking about joining, I think with everything going on, we're both kind of like putting it on hold. We might launch something maybe in April or May, but right now that's kind of on hold. I always like listening to Kat Schmoyer. Now she's the one who created Creative at Heart, and somehow, I shouldn't say somehow, she knows everybody who's anybody in the creative market, who does weddings, photography, calligraphy, all of that great stuff. She's put together a really nice panel of speakers that she has as friends. And so pretty much anything that anyone's doing or whatever is going on, she kind of knows all about that. I follow B is for Bonnie for design stuff. I love her style. We kind of have the same colors in terms of branding, and she's just very like calming and relaxing. And she, what else do I really like? I really wanted to work with her. She had one-on-one coaching. However, we have very different business models. So she teaches people how to be great at one-on-one design and having clients. And as you know, I don't do clients. I'm a course creator and a group coaching person. So it just wasn't a fit. But I think if that's something you are interested in, I think she's amazing, and does a really great job. She's actually probably my favorite person too when it comes to Instagram. I don't know how she does it or how much time she spends on it, but her Instagram feed and her stories are all just immaculate and perfect. Jessica, I always call her more of a friend. I follow everything that she does. She always gives me makeup tips. And I would say if anybody, I'm probably most like Jessica. We both do courses. We have downloads. We use the same tools. So I always like to follow her. Plus she's like me. She's very casual, not super over the top, elegant. Which, there are tons of people that have that style and they love that style. I'm just not able to pull it off. As you can tell, I'm wearing a gray, I don't even know what this is called, a Henley t-shirt. It's a workout shirt in case I should want to work out. That's probably a bunch of 90% of my wardrobe. Joel Osteen. I love following Joel Osteen because he has such a positive message. And I don't go to church because I'm going to just go ahead and say I'm lazy. But I do love listening to him every Sunday. Oh, someone had a question. Fanya. Hi, Lisa. Will the creator content be recorded and available for replay? That's a good question. I don't think so. I think it's only live that day. And I don't believe they made it available later because I have never seen the content from last year's content creator panel. So I think it's just live and that's it. Who else do I follow? Okay, so Brendan Bouchard. I think you guys all know I'm a huge fan of his. Pretty much the only person whose live events I go to anymore, and mostly because he happens to always have them in San Diego and I can't travel. But I just love listening to him. He's kind of like, I would say he's a cross between Mr. Rogers and Joel Osteen, but for business. So he is very much into how to help you make more money. He seems very honest, very genuine. He tells you exactly what he's doing, and he has a lot of knowledge. So I really like Brendan Bouchard. Roberto Blake. So when it comes to YouTube, I still love listening to all of his advice. He's I guess what I really like is I just like people who are informal and like, I don't feel like I'm being lied to, if that makes sense, right? Like, I feel like I'm a very honest person. Like, I'll just tell you, like, this launch totally failed. I didn't make any money. Like I won't like pretend like it made a bunch and I did so great. And I feel like that's also who I'm attracted to, people that are just like, well, I guess that failed. It didn't work. Like that are just honest and real. And I don't feel like I'm being like lied to. And not that people are lying a lot, but for some reason, I don't know. Maybe it's just me because I have like such like honesty is like a huge value thing for me. And I just love Roberto. And then also Sean Cannell is really great as well when it comes to YouTube and learning things. Marilyn, that's what I love about you, Lisa. Total transparency, no nonsense attitude. Thanks. Yeah. I think, people who are attracted to that end up being attracted to others. And then that's kind of how you form what you call your tribe. Although I'm really not. I am terrible at community building. I think you guys have seen, I don't have a Facebook group, or I don't really have a lot of engagement on my posts either. Like I noticed some people will post things, like I was talking to Jessica the other day, and is it over here? So her audience on YouTube, she's like, well, just ask your audience. And I'm like, I asked my audience and nobody said anything, right? She's like, I get like hundreds and hundreds. Like she gets so many responses. She has a dedicated administrative assistant just to go through her emails and her responses and her DMs, right? So some people I think are just better at cultivating that. It's just not my thing. So I never teach about memberships or creating community or anything like that. Where was I? Sean. Okay. Next for writing. I don't know if any of you guys are writers here that followed me over. Angela James. I love Angela James. Oh, Amy Cosine, Sean Cannell. He's great with video and YouTube. Says, yeah. Angela James worked for Harlequin, their Carina press line, for I think 20 some years. Anyways, funny story. I had pitched to Angela in person, like I'm sure she doesn't even remember, like 3 or 4 times. Every time I saw her at a conference. When you go to these writing conferences, you can sign up for like a 5-minute slot with an editor or agent, and you can be like, I have this great story, and they can like give you real-time feedback and be like, that sounds great, send it to me. Or they can be like, I don't know if I'm really interested in that. Probably not. Save it for, another person. And every time I pitched her, she's like, yeah, send it over. Anyways, I waited so long to send her something that she no longer works at Carina Press anymore. Like I have all of these people. Hold on. I will show you. I have like a box here of all of these editors and agents that I pitched to. And they gave me their cards so that I could then go ahead and send them my stories. And I never did. So I don't know why. I clearly have some confidence issues or something around submitting my stories. So anyways, she is somebody I follow. She now does personal editing services that you can pay for. So I follow her. Who else? K-Lytics. Alex Newton is really great. I try not to write to market anymore. But he always has a pulse on what's going on and what's happening and trending on Amazon, which quite honestly, that's the only place anyone's buying books. And he's really nice. Like if you write to him, he'll just say, I think that market is dead. I don't think you should go into that. And I find that very helpful. And so he has a monthly membership, and he also has a lot of different, I think, just specific genres that he puts out if you're an author. Joanna Penn too, same thing. I really like Joanna Penn. There's a ton of people selling services to authors, and I don't think they're bad, right? I think Mark Dawson is probably the most popular one. And I just really like Joanna Penn because she doesn't do a hard push, right? Like I never really do a hard push. She doesn't either. She's like, if you want to buy my course, great. If you don't, whatever, right? And so that's what I really like about her. She really loves sharing her knowledge though via books. So she creates a ton of books for other authors that I don't think are on they're not on KU. In fact, we talked about this. She said that she always goes wide so that she's not dependent on KU or Amazon or any other platforms. Obviously, she shares her revenue too. I don't think she shares numbers, but she shares percentages. And 80% of her revenue does come from Amazon. But she said still, even then, she just doesn't want to be dedicated just to one platform in case something happens, right? There was I think I told you guys all, there was this, what was called the porn apocalypse, because I used to write really steamy novels. They've all since been unpublished, but there was the porn apocalypse, and all of my books were selling really well. And then all of a sudden they were put in the Amazon dungeon and they weren't selling so well. So If I had gone wide like Joanna, then it wouldn't have mattered. I would have had books everywhere. So that's kind of it. Amy Lynn Andrews, I don't know if anyone has heard of her. She is this person that just loves to curate content from others and disseminate it out. She has this thing called the use letter, and I was on the list for literally years. And if you go over here to her use letter archives, you'll see, let's just open one. She would send out an email every single week, and she would just put together a list of things that she thought were useful and linked it out to other things. It was a really great email. And then I think maybe a month ago, she decided she wanted to pivot, and she's been doing this, I don't even know, for like years and years and years. Let's see. This is like a lot, like 300 episodes, right? So I can't even do the math. However, like 2 or 3 years. And then she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something else. And she doesn't really know I don't think she knows what she wants to do, but you'll notice this says October 29th. I don't even have a recent one, but her emails still, even though I think old habits die hard, she still keeps sending out useful links to other things, to other places. I don't think she can help herself. So if you are always wondering like what's going on, what are good links, and yeah, some of them are affiliate links, but that's totally fine. I would sign up for Amy Lynn Andrews, woman with 3 first names. I would sign up for her mailing list because she's always just kind of checking to see what's going on and resharing that everywhere. So that was her newsletter. All right, Gala Darling. I've just always loved Gala Darling. I don't know if anyone knows this, but when I first started out, I learned how to do blogging and online business from Gala Darling. She had this course called Blog Academy that she had started with 2 of her other friends, and they would travel all over the country giving this course, Blog Academy. And so even though we were both in New York, I actually took her class in LA. I don't know why. I think I was just traveling at the time, and the timing worked out well. She doesn't do that anymore. Instead, now she just talks about self-love and touchy-feely things. And I'm really not into touchy-feely like magnets and crystals or anything, but I do like reading like a little bit of her stuff just to be in touch and see what people are doing in that mystical self-love kind of community. So that's another person I follow. And I know this is way more than 5. I realize I do more than 5. And then Lovely Loops. I don't even know who these women are. They're sisters. And I don't think they're twins, even though they look very much alike. Or maybe they are. I don't know. I have bought so many of their courses lately because I don't know if I told you guys this. I love doing calligraphy. Like, I would do it for free if someone would just pay for the supplies. Like, I did all of my friends' weddings, baby showers. Like, I would like beg them. They were confused. They were like, I can give you money. I'm like, I don't need money. I'm just so excited to do this. So I love doing calligraphy. I find it very relaxing. Elise, they were just on Design Cut doing a free class on Procreate. Yeah. I don't even know how I found them or discovered them, but I bought like every class that they had, and they didn't even have it on sale. Hold on, I'll show you. Hold on, I logged in for you. So here are all the courses that I bought from them. You can see they're all 0%. I like literally just bought them. But I'm excited to check these out: lettering, animations, 3D augmentation. So yeah, especially because I like doing calligraphy on paper. Procreate and doing it on the iPad really isn't my thing. And so I definitely need help in order to make lettering projects, because I can make pretty letters. I just can't do it on the iPad. I don't know why. I can do it on paper. It's so long. And then I scan it in, and then I clean it up inside Illustrator, and then I resave it out in Photoshop, and then I put it on Procreate. It is so backwards. So I want to just be able to create things directly on Procreate. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing lately. And that's it. That's my whole list of everybody I'm following. Anybody have any questions? I know today was kind of like a different thing to talk about, but every month we can talk about whatever you guys want. Do you guys have any questions about printing? Is anybody still creating planners? I know I was talking to some of my friends on sales, and I have definitely seen a dip in sales. Like, people on Creative Market and Design Cuts, like all the other places I sell stuff, people aren't buying. And I think that's mostly because it's like Maslow's hierarchy of need. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that. I can't. I'm looking it up because I don't remember which is which. Yeah, there it is. So, in Maslow's hierarchy of need, like the things that we're selling, like the things where I'm selling how to create a planner or have a template, is more like self actualization, right? Doing the thing that you love and you're passionate about. And most people are selling passion projects. Love and belonging, a lot of people are selling dating coaching services. And so that would fall underneath here. But, if you don't have basic things, like if you're worried about paying rent next month, if you go to the grocery store and all of the aisles are empty and you don't have food, right? Like if you are people and customers in your audience that are still all the way down here at physiological needs, then how are they going to jump ahead and start buying stuff? That's why I think it's hilarious when I see some of these emails where they're like, you're so going to regret not buying this because you're wasting your time. And I'm like, am I really wasting my time standing in line and looking for toilet paper? I don't know that I really am. Am I wasting my time worrying about, paying the rent? And maybe I've lost my job, or maybe my significant other has lost their job, or my child has lost their job and now they've moved back home, right? So I think all of these are valid things that should always take and will psychologically take precedence over living out your passion. And I think people that are sending that message sometimes to the wrong person at the wrong time are definitely going to lose somebody. So that's just kind of my thing. And that's why I'm kind of like, I'm thinking like I might not just launch Planner Academy 2.0 in April, because I just don't know that everyone's in the right space for that. And I would feel kind of weird launching that. But again, everyone's different. Vanya, I still want to print planners, but I'm not planning to release them until later in the year or for 2021. That's a good plan. Elise, I was working on the fitness planner yesterday, but having a hard time linking the pictures. You mean finding pictures to put in there, or finding, like, let me know what you need help with and I can fix that. We can fix that right now. Amy, I am totally still creating a planner and working on a physical version. I was considering digital, but realized it can get complicated for people unless they know how to use it. True. So I've pivoted and been sketching my pages, which is exciting. The timeline has just been extended because of all of this. Yeah, totally fine. I think that's perfectly acceptable. Elise, some of the pictures were not coming through. Like you had purchased a picture and then it didn't come through onto the actual planner. Because here's the step. So if I wanted to put, so let's just take this thing. Let's save this image onto the desktop as Maslow's hierarchy of need, right? And let's say I go ahead and I'm going to open up InDesign. It's loading. Darlene, I'm sending out free printables, gratitude, and coloring pages while I'm creating other stuff for later. Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I think your audience will love you for that and be super excited later on when things kind of even out. Elise, it had the question on it and it seems to be the one with Adobe we're not working. Okay, so two things, Elise. One, you don't have any of the pictures, like 100%. You don't have any of the pictures at all, because I am not a photo reseller. So they 1,000% will never link. It just won't work. Here's what you can do. You have one of two choices. One, you can find your own photo, like go onto Adobe Stock. So let's go there together. You can go to Adobe Stock and you can go ahead and find any photo you want. Fitness women. That's what I did. And then you can use that to replace the photos. So what I did is over here in the filters, if I knew it was, went to orientation. So if I knew if it was a horizontal photo, I would change that. So I only got photos that I knew would be horizontal. If it was a full page photo, I switched this to vertical, because then I knew it would fit for a full page vertical photo. If it was one of those photos that spanned like a panoramic across 2 pages, I would then instead select panoramic. And that's how I would get the photos. Now, that's option 1. Let me show you option 2. Do I have it? Okay. So option 2 is to go inside of Adobe to the links panel. So let me share Adobe InDesign with you. Okay, so when you're inside of Adobe InDesign, just a question, and you go over to Window and you go to Links. So inside of this Links folder, you're gonna, can you guys see the Links folder? Let me make sure. I think sometimes with this, I don't think you can. I think I need to share the whole screen. Okay, I think you can see. All right, so now you should be able to see the links folder. So if you go to Window and you make sure the links is selected, when you open this folder, even though, so everything, I know what you're talking about, when you see a question mark next to it, so my photos have page numbers linked up, and that's because I have the photos because I bought them. If you do not have the photos, what you will see instead over here is a question mark, because it can't find the photos because I 100% did not give you the photos. I don't have the license to resell Adobe stock photos. So what you can do is for the Adobe photos, you can hover over here and I can see that it's Adobe stock 302. Let me write this down because I'm going to forget. It is 302 457,836. Does everyone see that? Versus the next one is 305,764, right? They all have identification numbers. So then if I go over here to Adobe stock, I can go ahead and I can put that number in, 302,457,836. And now I found that photo. So every single photo that I used is inside that links folder. And then you could go over here and you could say, you know what, I don't want to bother with trying to find my own photos. I'm just going to buy the exact photos that Lisa had. Then you can go over here, and obviously mine just says re-download for free, but you could go over here and then download those photos however you want. So Adobe stock, I think it works where you can sign up for a membership for $10 a month, and then you get 10 photos per month, I believe. But mine is like combined. I have like a combined package where I have Creative Cloud, and then they had an upgrade option for Adobe Fox stock photos. Elise, no, now I can. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's option 2. So let's just recap that really quickly. So the first option is, instead of looking for this, you could have just, or buying this particular file number, you could just go ahead and Google like food. Right? Like if I wanted that picture instead, I could say healthy food. I could search for that. I could go to the panel. I know it's a 2-pager panoramic, and I could switch over here so that I only see 2-pager panoramics. Maybe I want to use this photo instead, or this photo, or another photo instead of the one that I used. Or option 2 is you go over to InDesign, you go to Window, you go to Links, and then you find all of these photos, and then you just hover over that photo. And when that hand is hovering over that photo, you would just copy down that, that stock number, 152,821,253, and then you'd come over here and you could search instead by the number. So we did 302,457,836. And then you can go ahead and buy that particular photo. So you could do that actually with any of the templates that I've ever sold where the links are missing for Adobe. Those are always in there. And even if it's not Adobe, I believe if, I don't even know what else I would have done. I think everything is, I pretty much 99.9% of the time buy everything from Adobe. But if it's not Adobe, I think it'll tell you. Yeah, deposit photos, same thing. Deposit photos, you can see it has a number here, 413-956-79_1-2015. So all of these photos can be linked back. Dreams Time, same thing. It has a number in it. So anytime I upload photos, I know some people rename them. I don't bother renaming them. All of the links should just take you right where you need to go. So yeah, so I hope that helps for anybody for any of the templates that I sell. Amy, can I ask a question? Of course. I'm creating a planner that focuses on mental health and wellness. It has month, week, and daily. My concern is that the planner will be too big and thick if I do it as a full year. I'm thinking of making it quarterly or half a year, but would love your thoughts on this. There's a couple different ways you could do this. You could do, You could definitely do quarterly. That's hugely popular, widely accepted. People love that. You could also do where you split it. So you could have a mental health guide and then the planner that goes with it. So either that's a small book that you create or a small pamphlet, and that comes with the beautiful planner that you've created. And I'm assuming you mean physical because you're talking about you're worried if it's too big or thick. Or you could always just put in links to offline resources, or you could create an app that will kind of help work with the physical planner to prompt people with whatever daily, I guess, items that you were wanting to include or instructions or something else. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely though give people, I would either go with quarterly or I would go with the split where you have a full year annual and then all of the stuff is in an ebook. Because some people do enjoy buying a full year at a time and they don't want to bother with quarterly. Or sometimes the psychology is this person purposely split it up into quarterly to force me to buy all four or repeat buy. And some people are okay with that, and for some reason some people get really angry, like you've like tricked them or duped them. I don't know why that is, so just something to think about. So that's why I would offer two options, so then you kind of get both people, whether they have that weird psychology in mind or not. And then, maybe some people don't want others to know that they have like a mental health planner. So it could just be a really pretty planner. It could be called Serenity, or I don't know, some other word like that. And then they could have a separate guide that goes with it. So then no one really knew what they had. Amy, leaning towards quarterly because the dailies where the exercises would help them with the mental health, but I hear you and think about that. Yeah, I'm working on the name for that very reason. Yep, good. Yeah, I mean, if you have daily exercises too, 100%, that is the perfect reason to have an app. I think a lot of people do apps, and I think you could run ads on is it called the Calm app? Those different apps that people love. So if they're already using an app, they could see an ad for your planner app that has daily exercises, and they have, what else is it? They have for that's really good for that. Oh, the one where you can talk to a psychologist online. I can't remember. I think BetterHelp or Talk or Better Talk or whatever. And so I think those are really great ideas. I'll think about it. Okay, cool. Neat. Thanks. I'll look at that. Yeah, I really think apps, I think they sound really tough to make, but if you're not making some complicated app that does lots of calculations or something, it's just a text-based app that pops up a new thing every day, then it's really not that tough to make. It's more of a just almost like a website within an app for the phone, and you can get those done pretty cheap. And when I say pretty cheap, I'm talking like $3,000 or $5,000. So yeah. All right, guys. Does anybody have any other questions? Let me check YouTube. Actually, just kidding. I think I shut YouTube down. Let's see. No. All my sweetness. Hello. All right. Cool. All right, guys. I hope everyone is safe. You are healthy. I hope everyone is able to think about whatever they want to think about and not feel guilty. Give yourself some grace. I know we just did it hasn't been a week that we've been on the stay-at-home order for California. I know Chicago ordered theirs until April 6th. California, I don't think even has an end date. For some reason, people kept quoting March 31st as the end date, like something magical would happen because of the logical end of the Gregorian calendar or whatever. But I have no idea, but I think it'll probably be the whole month of April, just to see numbers come down and then get steady. So, but who knows? I obviously am not a medical professional. So at least stay safe, everyone. Stay safe, everyone. Yep. All right. Bye, guys.